Hello, everybody. Guess it's my turn to talk, huh? It's Willie and Renee, and we're here today, and we're just talking about grocery because everybody feels for that, about the grocery prices and when you're, retired, semi-retired on a fixed income, whatever, that's something that you need to really pay attention to. What do you think?
Well, I think it's interesting, and it's a true fact that when you're retired and have a certain amount of income, that you try to come up with ways to stretch it however you can. As things are nowadays, it seems that prices are going up. We have to say that during the time when President Trump was running for office, it was people were talking a lot about eggs and egg prices and so forth. But I think that with that has changed somewhat in the sense that egg prices, we've made the adjustments to accept it for what it is. And we tend to look at how egg prices may be higher than it was 2 years ago or 3 years ago or something like that. But we've adjusted to the whatever the prices are. If we want egg, we want egg. And the interesting thing to me is I go to the store and if I see a sign that says eggs, I'm cool with it. I don't look necessarily for brown eggs or name brand eggs because I certainly believe, and it may be different than others believe, but 9 out of 10 times, an egg is an egg. It come from the same chicken. It's just what someone may put on it. Like, for instance, they may say, oh, this is a farm fresh or farm raised egg from a chicken. But the reality is, you can tell me anything. As long as it tastes decent, I'm good with it. But some people do have that mentality that I need it to say farm fresh egg, and then I'm gonna believe them, and it tastes better, even though it may cost 50% more, but they said it, I believe it.
Well, the people he's talking about is me, okay? Because I don't just eat any eggs or whatever. But what we are fortunate enough is where we live, there's lots of rural places and where we can go actually to the produce, to the farmer actually that raises the chickens and get eggs. And so whenever we can, we do that. And they're a lot cheaper and they're actually farm fresh, farm raised. And for me, that's really important. Even if I get them from the grocery store, I don't just want it to say farm fresh. It needs to be free range and vegetarian fed. And, I just have to go by what they say, on the packaging. I've researched some of that, to see who actually is, because as he said, some people just say whatever, put things on there. But I don't want all the antibiotics. I don't want all the chemicals. I don't want the chicken, or the egg, to taste like meat, because they fed them all different kind of things. Anyway, but let's get back to like how we help assist, with our grocery and grocery prices. And as I said, we like going to the produce stands because they are, a lot cheaper. And you can pick and choose, how in the grocery store, lots of times, they're already packaged or wherever they came from or whatever. We have two places around us that actually have farms. And so we're able to do it, and that reduces prices for us. And then we also are fortunate enough. Hey, this is a plug for Publix. I'm good with commercials. Okay, I can give you a Publix commercial because Publix is like my favorite supermarket. And what I like a lot about Publix or other places wherever you might live is that it tells you where the product came from, where the produce came from. And I love that, even where the chickens came from. It'll tell you this farm or that farm, or this came from Chile or whatever. And it has a lot of buy one, get one free. And that's really helpful. You're trying to stock your pantry and keep things up, and if you can do the buy one, get one free, and my husband is really good with doing the coupon things on his phone and become members to all of these different places. Okay, I'm sort of bad about that, but he remembers that, and that gives us extra off or different benefits or whatever. And then some places also on Wednesdays, mostly, they have reduced prices for senior citizens. And so we try to take advantage of that, even going out to eat. We're members of AARP. That's another plug, right? But with them, they have lots of discount places where you can go. So when we go out to eat, I was so excited when I turned 55. The first place I went was to, no, it wasn't Waffle House. It was IHOP, because after 55, they give you this discount. And I was like, I'm 55, I'm over 55, because I was waiting for that discount. But, pay attention, we pay attention to where, they will give. And sometimes they give them, but you have to ask. And so I'm really good about that. Do you have a senior citizens discount, type thing? And so, yeah, we shop that way a lot, even with our usables, like the toilet paper, paper towels, all those kinds of things. They add up, and we usually get them from the grocery store. And I've noticed that they're usually higher at the grocery store than, even say, like if you have a Dollar General or Family Dollar or something like that. But um, I personally don't use a lot of paper goods for that reason. I like to spend it on our food, So people would say to me, "You're so bougie," or whatever. I was like, no, that's not the reason. It's because I'm trying to save money. I'm poor. That's the reason that I don't use a lot of paper towels. I use cloths, that we can wash again. And I don't use paper towels or napkins, paper napkins. I use cloth napkins. I was raised in, I don't use paper plates either, because then, paper, I'll just say paper towels now, you get 2 rolls of paper towels. It's like $9. Okay, and you're going to throw it in the trash, wherein I could just put this in the washing machine and watch a whole bunch of stuff with it. No, I'm not using a paper towel. I'm not using a paper napkin. I look in the trash and it just makes me feel ill. All of this paper cups, and, whoever does, that's fine. I'm just telling you about how, I sort of make sure, that it's spent on food instead of all of those throwaway things. Yeah, and the paper plates. What's the point? Just, you have plates, get them up there, wash them, use them 50 million times. Wearing that paper plate. People throw those away. Some wash them, which is very weird to me. If you're going to wash a paper plate, then you might as well have a glass plate, whatever. Anyway, that's one way. And then what I have noticed is, by doing the buy one, get one free, and not allowing stuff to go down, your products before you shop again, it really does save money. And that sounds interesting, but whenever you have to stock up the whole pantry, say once a month, then you end up spending $300 or $400 at a time. Wherein, if you catch the bread, say like on sale, buy one, get one free, before you need a loaf of bread, you buy one, you put that one in the freezer, and you keep restocking instead of having to stock everything all at once. And so I try to keep an eye on what we're getting low in, and look at the sell papers, and see. And so that way, I'm spending just $20 a week instead of 200 or 300 for that whole month trying to restock. everything. And I know some people, they laugh at me. My kids are like, you ain't gonna never be without toilet paper. No, it says, everybody else, a friend of mine says, we just have 4 rolls of toilet paper or whatever, And I was like, oh no. When they had during COVID and all of that, and they were short of all of this, we never even had to, had to worry about that. I didn't even know they had a shortage. I was just like, oh, okay, because I had stocked up on it, and to make sure that then I'm not having to run to the store and buy toilet paper where I could get it maybe a whole case or whatever for $20. But now because we're run out, I got to pay, 11 or $12 for just 4 rolls. That is not economically sound for me. No, get that on sale, pay the 20 some dollars, and you have some. And when that sort of starts getting low, then you get more instead of having to just get whatever price anybody, gives you. And we do like going out to eat and things like that, and it's good. We don't travel that much at night. Well, one reason where we live is not much to do at night. We'd have to go a ways, but going to lunch is a lot cheaper than going to dinner. And so, we tend to go to the lunch late. If lunch is over at 2, we'll go, 1:30 or so that we can get, the lunch special. And that way, by getting the lunch special, it's cheaper. And now, that we're on our weight loss journey, yes, 70 some pounds I've lost, and Willie has lost 40, 50, I don't know, a lot. But that cuts down. That cuts down a lot on our grocery. But because of that, if they have large servings, we just get one serving, and it's enough for both of us. And that way we can still enjoy, our fish and grits or whatever it is, that we want, because we can get 3 pieces of fish, and I'm only going to eat one. He'll eat the 2, most of the time just the one, and have the one for another time, instead of us having, the 4 or 6 pieces of fish. And then I'm bringing a doggy bag home. He's bringing a doggy bag home, and now the fish is soggy and nobody don't want it. All of that. No, we just we share. What are you thinking about? Well, I said some of the things.
Well, I agree with that. That we tend to, at least now, we take our time about a lot of stuff. As you said, for buying item from the grocery store or Sam's or Costco or something like that, or even Public, we look for the sale price.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because we have the time to do it. We're not rushing, trying to
Right.
get stuff and put it there.
Right, right. That's true. And that's what we're going to be talking about next time, about things that we don't rush about anymore, and that, things that we do differently now that we, have more time. So stay tuned. And then we ask you to subscribe if you find value in what we have to say, or just want to know what our lives are like, or whatever. Want some great entertainment, we can entertain you. Or, share it with a friend, or, give us a thumbs up or comment.
And certainly we'll ask that you subscribe to our channel, and we'll be back with more. Thank you for tuning in.